Good evening, good evening, good evening. I want to welcome you to tonight's edition of Yes You with Friends. And I'm so glad that you all have joined us on this evening, on this fine day. So glad to see you here, and I appreciate you for coming into the stream. Now, looks like we got a little bit of difficulty here. We're going to get everything on. Got you, Tyrone. Got you. Let's see. Yes, I had you in full force. Now we kind of jumped out just a little bit. I see you trying to get that. But nonetheless, hold on a second. We're gonna pause just for station identification. I'm not sure how to get you back in here full-fledged either. While people are gathering, we're gonna get the screens together. I appreciate you guys. Just be patient with us here in the studio. Yes, there's something going on definitely. Just a moment, and we're going to let me switch out of here for a second, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back. Okay, now this what we're gonna do a little bit of adjustment here, but while we're getting that done, I'm gonna ask Jonna if you would go ahead and just tell us what's going on with you in your week, and just chat for a few seconds with the folks, and I'm gonna be right back. But in the meantime, Jonna, share about what's been going on in your world this week.
Can you hear me? I can see you well, Ty. Okay, I can see you well. So, what's been going on in my world this week? Well, it's been pretty busy this week. Believe it or not, we're gearing up for back to school already, and the kids are disgusted, as am I. And so we've been getting everybody together to get back in class. And we did get the oldest one finally agreed to get vaccinated. So since we it seems like it's been forever since we've been on here.
Right.
A lot has gone down. But anyway, since the last time we spoke, she did finally giving in. And it was an interesting visit to the doctor's office to get her together. She's normally very calm and very passive, agreeable, and it was different, but we definitely got her together. And she went ahead and did what she had to do. We did have to do a little bit of bribing, but it's all good.
But you made it through.
Yes, she made it through, and it was good. So she's ready to go, ready to get herself back into the swing of things.
Excellent.
So she's no longer fretting about it. We're not having to do daily research about it. We're not having to come against the doctors on YouTube and Google about it. So It's all good.
Mother meant that thing.
Yeah, she took us there, but it's all good.
She's doing her
Lord,
research.
doing it.
She is with folks that are not credible. People with
Oh.
yeah. I'm like, baby, come on now. But it's all good. She got herself together. And other than that, I mean, that's basically what we're doing now, arguing back and forth with them about in class or virtual. And it's just, all that. So, other than that, we've been good.
Cool. That's awesome. And so, Tyrone, tell me what's going on in your world, sir.
Well, just like Jonna was saying, it seems like it's been forever since we've been able to get together. Like a lifetime has gone by. But in my world, Blaze got neutered almost 2 years ago. So we're dealing with that. Getting adjusted to, dealing with his surgery and everything. And since I started working for Child Protective Services, every day has been an experience. I've seen so many things and witnessed so many things and become woke to so many things. But it's been a great experience. I can't say work has been boring at all.
Are you liking it?
I do enjoy it. I enjoy it because every day is something new. And we're in a position to really help people. As long as they want to be helped.
Yes.
But we're in a position to really help people. And it's been great. I've enjoyed it, but it's been some long days. We work almost 24 hours a day, especially now due to COVID.
Okay.
There's the demand for foster parents have slowed down a little bit because of course people don't want a lot of people in and out of their homes. So we have kids that stay in hotels. So we stay with them on shifts. So we rotate 3 hours, sometimes 6 hour shifts.
What?
Different hotels. Yeah, we have kids that just can't be placed. We call them CWAP, so children without placement. They don't have family they can go to. They don't have foster parents that will take them in. So we keep them in a hotel and we rotate shifts, 3 hour shifts, 6 hour shifts every day.
Wow.
To make sure they're monitored. And so it's been an experience, but I enjoy it. And like I said, things happen that make me say that should be changed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do. So I do enjoy, and I'm glad that I stepped out on faith to get to do it. But other than that, we're just living our best lives. It's hot in Texas, so we're doing the best we can.
Child, it's Hades everywhere. I mean, Hades is loose upon the earth. It is hot. I want to welcome and appreciate everybody I see over here. BTD Mom, good evening to you. So glad that you're here. Mel Holiday, listen, we missed you. I see you all saying you missed us being here. We've missed you. I just want you to know. And I'm so glad that you all are back. Damon Blissett, that's my brother. That's my pastor. He's in the house. And yes, that is sad that you have children without placement and trying to figure out. So I feel like, like you said, this is a passion. This is a dream, something that you wanted to do that gave you the opportunity. You're the kind of people that we need in those slots dealing with the children, and so that they can have some wholesomeness, folks that really get energized about it. Good evening, Nancy Jackson. Good to see you in the house, sis. Thank you. Welcome to the Lion's Den. Now, with that being said, though, Tyrone, do you feel like that's something that has a very high... Come on, we can give him some applause. That's good. That's good. They're clapping for you out there. They're clapping for you out there.
Thank you.
I love it. I know y'all can't hear the sound effects, but the audience can. We're giving you applause and air horns, all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you envision, however, it's something that has a high rate, or I want to say a quick rate of burnout? How do you feel you will be able, or ways to really kind of adjust to potential burnout? Uh-oh, I think you just froze up on me. Hey, Teresa Jones, how are you? Let's see. I think I'm gonna need Tyrone. If you can hear me, I'm gonna ask you to go out and come right back in. Go out and come right back in. I think to the audience, please bear with us tonight. Apparently, we got some kind of internet connectivity issues going on. I don't know that it's so much within the system here as much as out there in Twitch land or wherever we're having some difficulty. So Tyrone, I'm gonna ask you to go out and come back in. If you would, and then we'll try to kick this back up. In the meantime, Jonna, did I lose everybody?
I'm still here.
You're still here. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Trying to get all of these cameras streaming and going here. Appreciate. Thank you, BTD Mom. You said we'll be here. Thank you. Royal Confessions is in the house, y'all. Royal Confessions. So glad for you, baby. So glad that you are here, and thank you for coming on in the house. So we're having just a little bit of technical difficulty. I'm going to ask my list. Okay, if you all will give us about 2 minutes time, 2 minutes downtime, we're going to close this session out, come right back. Yes, we'll go to a commercial and let that beautiful beam footage roll, and we'll try to get whatever's going on here straightened out, and we'll be right back. Thank you. All right. Thank you all for holding on. I appreciate your patience. They will be back right now. Let's see. I Jonna's still here. Let me do this. I'm gonna switch to another studio. Jonna, I'm gonna have you all go to StreamYard, and I'm gonna bring you all from StreamYard. In the meantime, I'm just gonna have a little chit chat with my friends. And there you have it. Just like that. Voila. It's magic. So in the meantime, while we're getting to another stream option with the difficulties that we seem to be having, then I'm going to just have a little chit chat with you all this evening. Let me come out here and see what you all got going on. Now, as we come into 2021, and this is going to be some of the discussion that we're going to have on tonight, I want you all to share with me some of the things that are going on in 2021 in the world. Just that old slimy devil. Here we go, Mel. Here we go. You got me going. You got me going. And they'll be back in just a second. But listen. This is the question. This is the question. Let me get it all set up here. Could it be? Could it be? The devil. Baby, it ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. I'm trying to tell you, ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. But nonetheless, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. You can't shut us down. So at the end of the day, we are setting up, as they're getting prepared over there, we're setting up to come to you. But this is what I want to talk about. 2021, I feel like, is a major change, a major shifting. That's what my sisters and I, we were sitting and we were having a chat even on yesterday. And we were talking, and we miss Royal Confessions. Our love is still going out to her. Our condolences. Beautiful homegoing service for her spouse on yesterday. My big brother, my big teddy bear brother, Apostle Kenneth Royal. Beautiful homegoing service. Appreciated being able to go down and just share love and share with her. Still sending out those good vibes. Still sending out those prayers. Still sending out that love. And Royal Confessions, we miss you in the chat, sis. We miss you in the chat, but I see you out there in the conversation. But as we were talking on yesterday, one of the things that myself, Royal Confessions, and another dear friend of ours, Sister Marnita Archie, who is also pastoring, we had a conversation about the shifting. Do y'all feel the shifting? I mean, there is a shifting that's going on. We've been talking about 2020 and how that has been almost like the jumping off point to come into something totally different. It's not same soup warmed over, same candy bar, just a different wrapper. There is a literal shifting and a change that's going on right now. And as we are coming into that place of change, I'm interested to hear and understand the things that you all are advocates for. This is what they're going to talk about when we get back. What are you advocating? What are the changes that you want to see? What are the changes that you want to experience? And the opportunity to see that come to pass, see that come to fruition. What are some of the things that you all want to? It's happening. Mel, you better testify. You've picked it up. You've picked it up. It's happening. Yes, it is. It is happening. So as we come into this phase and this stage right now of it's happening, what are the things that we are looking to see happen and come to fruition in this season and time? That's some of what we are going to be talking about and sharing about on tonight. So I want us to really think on that. It's shifting, Damon. It's shifting, Pastor. There is a serious shift that's on the horizon right now. And I don't know about you, but it's I can't wait. I just can't wait. So that's okay. I think we making looking for unity. I got you. Looking for unity. community. That's one of the things that I guarantee you is about to happen. So at any rate, just get ready. One of the big things, BTD Mom, you're absolutely correct, is going to be that whole element of people coming together versus the division that we've had before. So here we go. I'm going to come out of this for just a second. I'm gonna ask you guys to hold on for just about two and two. I'm gonna jump out of this studio, but you know what we're getting ready to talk about? I want you to think about what you want to talk about along that line, and I'm gonna come back right back with my friends, and I want respect, kind, and being compassionate to one another. I see you out there, Mel. Give me just a hot second. I'm gonna jump out of here once more and again, and then we all gonna come back. How about that? That's gonna work real nicely.
Let's see what we can do, child. This is the cracks.
It is.
Anyways, did I say it to the right one? Oh, Jesus. Did I say it? In there? Oh my God. Do you see my picture? It's black.
Yes, definitely. Tyrone's night. That's what I was just. He said he didn't, so I'm trying to give.
Please don't tell me that conversation was public.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So y'all know we can hear y'all. Like even before Anjean left.
The devil.
If that's the case, I might as well go ahead and disrobe. Because I am burning up.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I want to know we can hear.
And I'm trying to figure out how did that even happen? How did that even happen?
No, I'm serious. We about to start taking. Oh God, I said it was gonna be a big show. Oh my God.
Oh, we talking about bread.
I want to know we can hear.
Yeah.
Okay, are you in there?
All right, y'all. Tell me if you can see us. Tell me if you can see us. Tell me if you can see us. Let me get down to the chat. Tell me if you can see us, y'all. Let me know what you see. Let me know what you see. You can see. Okay, Mel, you can. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Are we good? Are we good? Fix your hair, Tyrone. Come on and fix it up. They can see you. They can see you.
I didn't know we were live.
Oh, this is great, y'all. This is great. This is great. This is Yes You with Friends, and we are here. We are back. I appreciate you all's patience. I tell you what, the Diablo is loose on this fine day. It has been interesting trying to get. Yes, Pastor, it's all good. It's all. BTD Mom said, "I see you."
Mercy.
I didn't know we were live.
Yes. I love y'all. I love y'all. I really do. It's all good, y'all. It's all good. Okay, now let's get the mic going so they can hear you real well. And that's how you do a studio change. That was a whole studio changeover, y'all. That was a whole entire studio change.
Thank you, Mel. I appreciate that. She said she glad I put my clothes on. Don't count me out yet. Because we never know. I am burning up. I don't know if I'm having a hot flash or what, but you never know. Stay tuned. It might get a little dicey.
It's gonna get risque. Is it gonna be? This is gonna be a risque. Yes, it's a shift. It's a shift, Pastor. It's a.
I haven't had my girls out in some years. I might go on and
release them.
Do whatever. Let them be free.
Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Oh shoot. Okay, let me compose myself. I want to say to my friends, I know this has been an ordeal for you. I hope you're not just totally and thoroughly traumatized, but you're still here. Mel said, let them breathe. Oh, this is going to be a good one. I can tell. This is going to be a good one. Okay, so if you guys can gather your thoughts about you, I was saying and sharing with them that tonight's podcast was designed with the idea as we come in and have come into 2021, and we know that 2020 and COVID and all of that, we've been expressing that we really feel that has been the matter of transition from the old to the new, and that the whole COVID 2020 sheltering at home and all of that is really a lot of what is preparing us or has prepared us and started and been the catalyst to move us to the new. So that major shift from COVID is some of the shifting that's going on in the whole earth. So I asked them, I said, as I asked you all, to share some things that you feel that you're an advocate for, that you'd like to see in this changing process as we go from the old and to the new. And so a couple of things, I think a BTD Mom said unity, looking for unity. Mel said respect, being kind and compassionate to one another. Those are two things that came out as we were shifting over from one studio to the next. I'm going to ask you guys, jump in and jump on that idea of unity, looking for unity. And I think that's huge. I think that is tremendous. I think that's why, in my opinion, a lot of the struggle that we see with white supremacy and people not wanting to let go, I really believe in my heart of hearts, that is going to bring the unity that we want to see. It's almost like the opposite is pulling for what is getting ready to happen. So the division that has been in this country since our inception, for real, since the creation of this country has been division. Unity, as BTD Mom said, I think is going to be huge. What do you all envision in that as far as this change and the catalyst moving forward that's going to take us from 2020 pre-2020, post-2020? What do you want to see post-2020? And let's talk about that unity.
I mean, I would say I feel unity is like probably the biggest pinpoint that most people would like say they would see going forward after, post 2020, what we went through in 2020 and what we're dealing with now. For me, I'm a big advocate of, the reunification of the family, the dynamic of the family, whether it's your born family or the people you create as your family. 2020 took us through a lot of, having to like separate and, be in our own spaces. And we saw a lot of that even prior to 2020 and everything that happened with that. But I'm a huge advocate now, especially with my career change, like the reunification of the family,
Yes.
the dynamics of family, the dynamics of having a community around you that supports you and wants to see the best in you. That's going to be honest with you and want to see you better yourself, and you want the same for them. Unity, I would say, would probably be the biggest pinpoint for probably most people. But for me, my biggest thing is the reunification of the dynamics of whatever your family is and whatever your family group is. Just that, coming back together, unifying, being one, and continue and supporting each other and growing with each other and making the best that we can together with each other, because there's no better opportunity for any of us now than now.
Okay. Now,
So I would say, yeah.
I'm a steal from Reboot, Marlena and Shelly, 2:00 on Friday afternoons. Y'all join us. These young lions are talking. But one of the segments that they have in their podcast is Turn That Thing Around. So even to your point that you're speaking of, Tyrone, and bringing the unification back to the families, especially if you're talking about children that are in the system and away from their family, how do we as a society, how do you think we're going to turn that thing around? And Jonna, feel free to jump in.
And are we looking at it as for like kids in the system as of right now?
I'm gonna say for you, kids in the system is going to be more direct to what your experience is, but even to a broader, because I think families as a whole are. Main Man said we need to recreate the whole village. We need to recreate the whole village. So so not only just for those in the system, but the whole village. How are we gonna turn that thing around?
I feel we could turn that thing around with having selfless love. And we have to, I think a lot of times we get caught up in what's important to me and how things make me feel, and maybe what you've done in the past or what my experience with you has been. We have to have that selfless love where we just have to love on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And continue to, I see kids, especially the kids in the hotels, they're with us because there's no one that will take them in. And it may be, they have these behavior issues, or they have a mental issue, or they have this, that, and the other. But these kids are living in a hotel because we've exhausted all possibilities. Mom lost mom, dad, grandma, grandpa on both sides, aunts, uncles, hairdresser, pastor, baby mama. I've seen all the experiences. These kids are living in hotels because there's no one that will take them in.
Wow.
If I could, I would, but they live in my county, so I can't. But we have to have, and even outside of that, we deal with people in our own families that, maybe things were bad in the past and we have issues with them, and, I have a bad track record with them and whatever. We saw what 2020 took us through.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us on here, we've lost people. We weren't able to be with people. We had to watch funerals over Zoom. That selfless love of saying, I'm gonna let that go and just love you.
Mm-hmm.
And be the best I can for you, and just let's unify this thing.
Wow. I will say your comments right there are very sobering, because when you say nobody will take these children, nobody will take these children. Mel said in the comments, we have failed them. And I think to some extent, I have to embrace and agree with Mel's comment that we have failed those children in some way. It's beautiful that you're there in the system to be there to care for these children in the interim, but how long will that continue? How long can that go on before the children start to feel broken and that we failed them and that it's a hopeless situation? And you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Wow. Jonna, go ahead, jump right in.
Well, I can't imagine the circumstances. Well, let me not say that, because I've seen this actually a time or two myself. But it is sobering to think that there were children and you just have nobody out of, all the people that are around and nobody, but it does happen. And they need people, to advocate for them. And it's a good thing, to have somebody in there. Tyrone was saying earlier about the hotel and having to go in and do shifts, and and that's even a strain on the system. We got to do better somewhere.
Yes.
Somewhere we have to do better, because all those dynamics together, and the people who are suffering the most are the kids.
The kids.
You get workers who are exhausted. You got to do your shift and then pick up a 3-hour or 6-hour shift at the hotel. It's too much. We have to figure out where to get it before it gets there, before they're in that situation.
Wow. And when I thought, what's our question? What's our step to move forward as we're talking about change? I did not, Tyrone, and I appreciate you for bringing this to us. I did not think that didn't cross my mind as one of the things, but at the level that you're sharing with us, this is huge. And I do think back to Royal Confessions, Rhonda Royal, who's not on tonight, but she is in our viewing audience, who was sharing that, I believe she shared, within their community, they have like some of the highest level of children in the system that need care, and they're just out there. So apparently this is not isolated. It's not at any stretch of the imagination something that's just a small segment scenario going on in the communities, but apparently it's a problem. I appreciate you bringing it up, because even as I was thinking, and this is something, as I was thinking about how do we want to move forward? What are we advocates for? What do we somehow or another, this sliver of the segment of community did not cross my mind. But at the same time, I'm saying sliver, but it's actually larger than what it is, correct? Than what I'm making it. I saw Pastor Blissett say the children are going to feel abandoned, and then Mel is saying we need to put others' needs before our own needs. How? Because 2021 and beyond, post-COVID, how are we going to turn that thing around? You said unconditional love and really putting that love out there. Jonna, I heard what you said. Is that enough?
I would say no. But that may be all we have at the moment.
Okay.
Is that enough?
Is that enough?
Yeah, apparently not. But we have to... apparently not. I'll just leave that there.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So I'm gonna put in what I'm gonna call a commercial for more people to get engaged and get involved. Is that right, Tyrone? Do you need? Are we saying we need more foster parents, more foster care, more families to take the? Now, if the families tow up from the floor, are they ready to take on the family? On one side, but then on the flip side, I've seen where families wanted the children and the system wouldn't give them the children. So speak on that point.
So you do see a lot of that where, you have families that want the children, but maybe we found some drugs in your home. There's some obstacles that need to be, taken care of before we can make that happen. One of the most heartbreaking things for me, and that's why it's a big push for me as far as reunification of the family, because and something I'm trying to work on not doing is taking my own experience. So when I think of the family, I think of like my mom and the grandparents that I've been around, your mom, and everybody that is a thing of we're a family, and we're gonna make this happen. Whether it's 5, 6 of us in this 1-bedroom house, we gonna make it happen, and we gonna eat, and we gonna make it happen. What bothers me with what I see in this hotel situation as far as CWAP is a lot of these kids see their families. So they see grandma, they see, they'll spend the weekend with grandma, they'll spend the weekend with aunt and uncle that we've approved and said, you're good to be with this person. But these people won't be your place. These people want you on the weekend, they want to be a part of your life, but they're okay with you living in a hotel all week. These kids are living in hotels because there's no one that will say, I'll take on this responsibility of taking care of this child. And it bothers me when I see kids I had a kid Friday, who he spent 4 days out of the week with his family. Now, not his mom, not his dad, but his grandma, aunt, uncle, this, that. Now, he stays 4 days out of the week with them. 3-year-old little boy, no medical issues, no medication, no nothing. But nobody in your family will step up and say, I'll take him. I'll do 4 days, but for 3 days, he gonna be in this hotel. Going from hotel to hotel, living in a room with a police officer in your living room. Every shift, every 3 hours, somebody else is coming in. And to me, that's crazy.
Yeah.
To me, I grew up in a home where we had to split a bag of beans and we only had one bowl apiece. We made it happen.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that there's these kids living in this hotel, but they have family. When I say there's no one that will take them in, I'm not saying they don't have family. Family bring them shoes and they take them back to school shopping and they do all this, but none of them will step up and say, I will be their place. And the sad part about it, I have 3 17-year-old boys living in a hotel with they see their family on the weekends. One boy last week, grandma bought him shoes.
Wow.
At 18, he go out and hit them streets. These kids are thinking, I'm good because my family here, but your family, you're living in a hotel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, we have to do better as a people.
The village. So, Mel asked, is there an issue with the system?
No, because if there was I'm not gonna say there's not an issue with the system. I will say, if there was an issue in these particular situations, these grandparents wouldn't be able to see these kids. These family members wouldn't be able to see these kids. We've approved, and we say you're okay. This child can go with you for the weekend. You're good. I was in court on Friday where we had to have a conversation with a grandmother. We're terminating the rights of her daughters to her kids. Grandma wants more visitation, but we're telling grandma, hey, once we terminate rights and these kids get adopted because they're with foster parents who are ready to adopt them, these foster parents have no obligation to continue to let you be a part of their lives.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So you're in court right now fighting with me because you want more time. Why not pull together your village to take care of your grandkids? You want to be grandma to them? Pull together your village and let's be grandma to them. Because once mom lose rights, y'all all lose rights. And it hurts me to see this happening to so many kids when they have family.
Yes.
I couldn't imagine my family, any of your families, letting any of the kids in your families go off to the wayside. And that bothers me.
I tell you,
we got to do better as a village. We have to do better as a village.
This is real talk. This is Yes You with Friends. Daniel Andre Dean, thank you for the prayers. I see the praying hands. Thank you for putting the prayers in there. Mel, I see you guys and the prayers and the love. Thank you. And at the end of the day, even with that, we're going to have to step up. Somebody has to step up. Somebody is going to have to step up, or these numbers are just going to be staggering. And even when I listened to the comment that Brother Damon said earlier, they're going to feel abandoned if they,
Yes.
and I'm sure they probably already feel abandoned. Jonna, go ahead and jump in. What are your thoughts as you hear Tyrone sharing this scenario? What does that bring to your heart? What does that bring to your mind?
Well, it's a difficult situation because a lot of times, even though there is a need, some family are simply not able to meet them. Now, this thing about you can stay here 4 days and then you got to go, I don't know about that. But as far as permanent, it's easier said than it is done for a lot of people. You know, raising children is extremely expensive. It is extremely time and emotional. It will tear you up or take it up, is what I mean. It will take up everything. And some people simply don't have it to give anymore, especially grandparents. And that's a whole separate beast because they are of age and they have raised their children and they are tired and all these little energetic little kids. And it, you know, things like school take so much more now than it did years back. So all of that has to be considered. But at the same time, you know, it's not, I can't imagine living at a hotel. I can't, it's just, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, just even the picture of that, police officers in your living room in a hotel, and then staff that's changing every so many hours at a hotel, and this is what you're calling and experiencing as life. I'm very glad that we touched on this, because when we talk about ministry, when we talk about dealing, there's so much more to be done than just standing behind the podium and a lectern and hollering and screaming and you know, getting happy. We got happy. We shouted. We sang the songs that made us feel good, and we went home. And then these children are in the hotel. And so it's like there has to be something greater to what we're doing. And that's why I feel good about 2021 and beyond, post-COVID, because it's pushing us to a place where we can't continue to let this just spiral out of control. Somebody has to step up to the plate. Yes. Somebody has to step up to the plate. So if it's not the family, and I will say this because I've had experiences of dealing with family that have extended family members that have children in care, and then the issue becomes because sometimes those children in the system have extra issues, that begins to come an issue for younger age. Like Jonna said, sometimes those grandparents are already of age and they just don't have the stamina, the strength, and everything else to do it physically, financially, or otherwise. But then some of the younger ones are at an age where they have children themselves, and so when you start talking about bringing in a 17-year-old brothers and bringing them into a household that's got small children, and those brothers may have, I'm not saying in that instance, but I'm just using what you shared, they may have some issues going on, and then you turn around and you're trying to give your children the best that they can get growing up, and they're still young and they're still impressionable and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, then to bring that risk, I'm gonna call it a risk, into your home becomes an issue as well. So tell me how you all feel about that.
I mean, my thing is, you know, every situation is different, and I totally understand. You know, in a perfect world, we will be able to take in all kids and find placement for them, and the families should step up and this, that, and the other. But we have to be realistic. You know, it is very expensive to take care of kids, and especially when you're in a situation where you have a family of your own, and most of these kids that are in our hotel have some type of, whether it's a behavioral issue or a psychological issue or a medical issue, and a lot goes into that. You know, we want them in counseling, we want them in this, that, and the other. So it is a taking. I guess my only thing is, and again, one thing I've told myself over and over again, I have to remove my experience from my work. And for me, it's we gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
for me, but I understand, and and totally agree. It's easier said than done, because I deal with foster parents where I see it is a taking on them for the things they have to do to take care of these kids. It just pains me, because a lot of the kids, they have this hope that because I see grandma, or because I see uncle, and because I do this, that, and other, their hope is that I'm gonna be with them someday. But they don't realize, because you're in the hotel, that's because your family has either they've given up their rights, your parents have given up their rights, or they lost their rights. And the kids don't understand that. So that's the hard part for me, because whenever they get with family, there's that hope that, oh, I'm gonna see my grandma next weekend, let me do what I need to do. And they're hoping for this good day where they're finally live with grandma.
Yeah.
And that pains me, because I know that the 3 17-year-old boys that I sit with at the hotel, they're gonna be there until they're 18. And they're not learning a skill. They can't tell you they don't know how to fill out a job application. They know nothing. And when they turn 18, unless they decide to stay a part of the state and go to college and get a part-time job, they're off to the streets with nothing. No skill, no money, no nothing. And I mean, that my thing is, that's what the village should come in. And not just for kids in foster care. The village, we need with all we've been through in 2020, that village really need to come together now.
So let me re-envision this, because I my mind, I just let it run amok and just come up with ideas. So I saw Brother Damon said real ministry is outside the walls. What would it look like if, and let's envision this, because it's 2021 and beyond, we're talking post-COVID. What if ministries picked up the slack, took the ball, found people within their congregations, actively sought people, recruited people, even people within their congregations to start coming in and taking some of these children that the families don't, the blood can, the DNA can't handle, but let's go to the extended DNA, because at the end of the day, we're all brothers, we're all sisters, they're all our children. All of these children, they're our children. I feel like that is the post-COVID, when BTD Mom talked about unity, a lot of times we start talking about other levels of unity, but to me, this is unity right here, to recognize these babies are our children. Even if their closer DNA family cannot take them, they're still our DNA at some level. Let's start becoming much more proactive in recruitment. If we're gonna talk about church, y'all want to raise your dollars, we got to pass the plate and to build a bigger sanctuary, to build a youth center, to build this, to build that. How about taking on some practical ministry that really impacts the community, and what's going to impact us more than our children? What about some thinking and some ideas like that? Y'all tell me what y'all think about that.
I think it would be fantastic. I know that there are some programs similar out there that, especially a lot with the Catholic churches, they will kind of groom people to foster care and whatnot. But it needs to be more, apparently. It needs to be more of it. And I don't know that I've seen a lot of that in our community.
Correct.
Now, I haven't moved around churches like you have, maybe, but I don't know that I've seen a lot of that at all.
Oh, it's slim to none. If they raise money, it's going to be for the pastor or for some benefit that's going to church beautification or something like that. It's not necessarily. And then it's interesting, now, since you touched on that Catholic Social Services is one of the only entities that has a thriving social service built within its ministry. You would think that if, and I know we want to say, well, we got a benevolence fund, and when y'all pass the plate for the benevolence fund, it's put in 10 cents, put in a quarter, put in. Now, come on, y'all know I'm telling the truth. This is what happens when they say benevolence fund. You're gonna hear cha-ching, because it's all gonna be coins. You're not gonna see paper money, and even that's gonna be like very, very slim to none. But we don't have systems of social welfare built into most of the churches. and especially in the black churches. Black church social services involves the members walking up to me and say, "Pastor, I need my bill paid. Can you give me $200?" And I'm telling you that this is literally what I've that's the truth. Pastor, I need XYZ for da 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 da. Can I borrow it from you this week? I promise I'll pay you back. And y'all know I ain't seen that money since. But so the pastors that care oftentimes end up being the social services, but the ministry as a whole is doing nothing.
I think that would be a really good step, especially for our communities. I do have a kid that was removed from his father, and the pastor and his wife stepped up, and this young man is placed with the family. And I think that is a really good dynamic because it's the family's church. So even though he's placed with the pastor and the pastor's wife, he's still able to engage with his siblings. They're older, but they still go to the church. And we've been able to work it where he's able to have his visitation with his father at the church. So it's still, that community dynamic that he's used to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's absolutely, if the church would, and even believe it or not, Native Americans, if you say you are Native American, they have their community. Mm-hmm. Takes that child in regardless of where that child is from. Before we can remove a child from a house of Native American descent, we have to reach out to the tribe. Mm-hmm. And the tribe makes that decision on how things flow.
Oh, I love that.
I think we could do that as a community, as a church. I mean, and a lot of people think of foster placement or foster care as I'm adopting a child. Mm-hmm. You're just giving that child some consistency, some bit of normalcy, and security.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I don't know about every state, but I know here in Texas, we help with a lot of resources, daycare, different resources people need, placements need, to just make sure that kid has what they need, because we want the best for the child.
Yes.
And I think, if we were able to start, developing families in churches to, be that placement when, we have a child that's out there struggling.
Yeah.
I think that would be absolutely amazing to just keep that community going.
I want to build on that. And as you said, let's take the initiative and be proactive to train people in the church, because even in the scenario that you gave me, it was the pastor that took the child. Mm-hmm. And I'm stressing that point because I want to speak to the lackadaisical attitude that we failed to combat within our congregations. The congregations come in, they want to be fed, they want to be led, they want to get all of the entertainment of the church factor, but they really don't want to provide real ministry within the church, and it's expected that the pastor will do that. I know my mother was raised in foster care, and her foster parents were pastors that just took the family, split them up. The pastors, the ones that took her, the pastor, the parents of them were pastors. It's like pastor, but where are the people? Right. Where are the people? One of the church that she went to, the pastor from there, when my grandparents died, and I don't call them my foster grandparents, my mother's parents to me were her foster parents more so than her biological, other than the fact that her mother was deceased at early age. But they were her parents, and when they passed away, they had almost 300 and something kids. Then the Cunninghams, they had oh my God, probably like 500 and something kids. But these are all pastors, but the people in the congregation, nothing, zip, nada. And I don't know why the mindset is that the pastor's responsibility is to do the ministry. But you got some of these churches are 1,000 people strong, 500 people strong, 100 people strong. If those 100 people were really groomed for those that were able to move in this space, do you know how many kids we could remove from the system? Y'all tell me. Talk to me. Crickets.
It would be a totally different system.
Totally. Come on, Johnny, go ahead.
That stuck out the most about what Tyrone was saying is the Native American, and before you can do anything, you got to go through the. Now
Listen.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
Yes.
the funny thing, I was probably ignorant. So when I was having this conversation, it was like, well, you have to reach out to the tribe. I was like, does the tribe have a website? Like, how do you reach out to But I found out the parents should know how to reach out to the tribe.
That's what we need a little more of.
That's strong.
That is
That's powerful.
It is.
Y'all about to make me jump up and start shouting. But go ahead, Jonna.
Yeah, how much you really can't get any better than that. If you slipping somewhere and somebody somebody is coming in to say, wait a minute, before you slip away, wait a minute.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. I want to read Daniel Andre Dean. I'm so glad you're here, Danny. My thoughts are some of the youth that are in the system have never felt love from their family, and they can be placed in a family that shows them love. But the youth is not just going to grasp it immediately because it's something new to them. So the village and the new family needs some professional guidance to be able to deal with the initial resistance and some rejection in order to stay in the race. Beautiful. Speak to that, you guys. That's awesome.
I can say it is a transition when you, especially the more kids in one family, because a lot of time they've been separated before they finally can get to a home, and they see a lot. Mm-hmm. They've been through a lot. And it's sometimes for an extended period of time before they find their forever home. And they're angry, they're hurt, they don't trust anybody. They feel like they're in this world by themselves because a lot of times they have been. And it is an absolute period of adjustment. It can take a good while before they let down and relax. So the kids need extra support in that, and the adoptive or foster parents need extra support in that, because that transition can get really sticky. And I think sometimes that's a lot of times where the foster parents kind of throw in the towel and say, I'm not going to be able to do it because it's too tough. It's especially the longer they've been in the system, it can get really sticky after a while.
But and I agree, and I can only, going back to Damon's concept and comment rather earlier, that then you end up feeling abandoned, and that abandonment by the time you're 16, 17 years old, and this has been your life, almost the entirety of your life, that's a hard one to reverse. However, I feel like sometimes those are the ones we need to snatch up the quickest, because they're getting ready to hit the streets in a couple of years. You understand what I'm saying? And we need to deal with that before they hit the streets. And I still feel 15, 16, 17 is still young enough and impressionable enough that if we snatch them, we can snatch them from the jaws of death and the gates of hell. I really do believe that. I believe that. And I believe love can turn that thing around.
I mean, that's the biggest thing to think about is, all of us just want to be loved, regardless of how old we are. We've been through bad relationships, and the next one come around and they'll turn that thing on around for us. These children just want to be loved. They've seen a lot. They have some trust issues. They've experienced a lot. And I think that gets in a lot of people's heads, especially when it comes to the older kids, that, it's too late for me to try and turn that thing around. Mm-hmm. But you will be surprised how you can impact someone's life.
Yes.
Even if, I've been there 3 weeks, and I'm able to have they don't see many Black people, and they don't see men. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I'm the most manliest man, but they like my sneakers. So we connect on something. We connect on something. Yes. So you can change someone's life in just the smallest period of time.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we all just want to be loved and to feel appreciated and acknowledged.
I agree. Many times as I'm out in ministry and I just touch some of these kids for a hot second, And that hot second it turns into a lifetime connection. And that's the truth. And it's not because I'm trying to be grandiose. It's not because I'm trying to go in and tell me all your problems. It's literally just moments of going in and showing that I care and having a connection and attempting to have a connection with them, and just say something, and the next thing you know, it's just like it's, and I'm talking about the older young people, not just the little kids, but the teenagers, because at the end of the day, they're just, in my opinion, you stay at the, wherever you got traumatized, that's where your development level tends to stay. So they're just little kids in grown people's bodies, but we look at them and we see that big old body, if it's a big young burly young man or a filled out young woman, is like, oh child, you ain't no need to even wasting my breath. But more times than not, it takes just a little bit of a touch and they just cling to it. I mean, cling to it for dear life. And so I just feel like we've got to have a mindset that says we got to do more and we got to step up to the plate.
Correct.
Got to do more and got to step up to the plate. Now, the other thing before I leave, and thank you for bringing this as this is what you advocate for. And I agree with you 100%. And I think you may have really, yes, Daniel, all you got to do is listen, connect, and love. I love that. I love that. You better preach, preacher. Listen, connect, and love. Liz, I'm gonna put that in my Discord. Listen, connect, and love.
And that's it.
I love that. I love that.
That is good.
You ain't got to preach at them. You ain't got to bring them a track for salvation. And
Nope.
y'all ain't ready for me.
A track.
Yes.
They're not asking for money. Some don't even know what to ask for.
Exactly. Listen, connect, and love. Let's carry that away, y'all. Listen, connect, and love. Thank you for
That's
that.
gonna be my quote for the week.
Come on, listen,
I'm gonna
connect.
get it on a t-shirt.
Come
and I'm gonna send it to
on,
y'all.
Rebel. We need that shirt.
Yeah, we do need that shirt.
We need that shirt. Listen, connect, and love. Danny Dean, you better come on up in the lion's den. Come on, Rebel said she got it. She got it. Y'all gonna see that on the shirt. Listen, connect, and love. It's just that simple. So I think sometimes we make it harder than what it really is. But now I do want to address this, Tyrone and Jonna. So how do we vet these folks so that we don't have pedophiles that feel like they in a candy store? Because that's real stuff too.
Oh, that's what the system's for.
Will the system screen all of that out?
All of it.
So I'm saying if the ministries start saying we want to do more than have a shingle on the wall that says we are outside the wall ministry, but we really gonna get outside the wall and do real ministry. If those ministries start forming and begin to start organizing and advocating for and training and getting resources for, we're going to have a ministry that ministers to kids to pull them out of the system and give them the love that they need to grow in a healthy, loving environment. It will be up to the system that will vet those individuals so we don't have pedophiles out here running loose.
Correct. We run all sorts of background checks on people. They have to go through services. We do home visits. We do all it. Now, if someone's doing something that's like under the carpet and no one knows about but them, we wouldn't know about it until it's exposed somewhere. But we do thorough checks on everybody. So the more people we get that, get into that whole foster program, whether it's an emergency or long-term or whatever they decide to do, I mean, the system will, I can only speak for the state of Texas.
I understand.
We do, thorough on everybody, babysitters, dog walkers, anybody that could potentially be a part of that child's life. We're going to vet them out to make sure that they are up and up and good to go.
Awesome. Jonna, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's a huge concern, because we certainly don't want to see them leave one bad situation and be thrust into another. And unfortunately, it does happen. And I don't know about Texas, but I know here we could do a little better.
Mm-hmm.
We could do a little bit better with that foster care system because it can. We need to do a little better.
Yeah. A BTG mom says, if individual families are unable to take the children, the ministry can still spend time with them, providing picnics, take them to the movies or the zoo, etc. How do you feel about that, Tyrone?
And they could. And even in that situation, like I said, we have a lot of kids that the parents have lost their rights, but we have family members, people from ministry that come and take them for lunch and this, that, and the other. And we do backgrounds on all of them. You can't see a child unless you've been approved. The only issue for me is a lot of times the kids get confused as to what's going on. And the more time they tend to spend with people, they tend to expect that, you're going to take me with you. So it's like a double-edged sword, I guess is what you call it, because we want, say the ministry can't take a child in, say the ministry can't provide those services, but the ministry can still be a part of that child's life. It's good. So they still have some consistency. Mm-hmm. It's just the children sometimes get a little discouraged.
They want placement. They want placement.
They want placement. And then when they get placement, again, it's up to the placement to say at that point, you can continue to see this person.
So Tyrone, let me ask you, I know you haven't been in this long, but what are some of the most common reasons that you're seeing parents losing rights? Because if we can stop that, then maybe, some of this doesn't have to go down like this.
So the biggest reasons I see where parents lose rights, unfortunately, most of the fathers will probably just give up rights. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, but they probably wasn't in the child's life anyway. A lot of times when it comes down to the mothers, or parents, period, it comes down to just not doing their services. So once a child has been removed from the parent, they do a psychological evaluation. We do a psychosocial evaluation, depending on the reason why the child was removed from the home. We'll do, drug and alcohol assessments, things of that nature, and we give recommendations. So they have services that they have to complete, but they also have to be able to show that they're learning something from their services. So we run into a lot of people who they'll skip drug tests, or they'll don't show up to their visitation. They don't complete their services, and we only give you a year. And within a year's time frame, if things aren't going in the direction it should be going, then we set goals. So of course the initial goal is reunification with the family, then it's adoption by a family member, then it's adoption by a kinship, and then it's termination. So there's options, but the biggest problem we run into is that a lot of people just don't complete their services. And honestly, if they had people, family members who knew what was going on and who could encourage them and support them through that process, especially for our own people, I feel they would be a little bit more successful in that process. Because a lot of things that our people, to me, an awakening for me, a lot of things I feel that we get dinged for, or what people say is neglect to our children, to us is actually cultural. So, I had a visitation with a mom, and there was this big conversation because it was a mom. She had 3 kids, and one of her kids had to go to the restroom, and she told her oldest son, "Take your brother to the restroom." To me, that's what my mom did. Take your brother to the restroom. I'm with the other kids. But that was an issue because it was like, well, she should have got all the kids up and taken all the kids to the restroom. She should have supervision over everybody. But to me, it was like, well, that's he's an older kid. He's like 12, 13. He's taking his younger brother to the bathroom. Mom's with the other kid. It should be fine. To me, that's cultural. So I see a lot of things like that. So I just feel like if we, to prevent even getting to this point, if, we all work together, and maybe someday there'll be a system where we're able to include family members into what the process is, and we're able to support each other and encourage each other to complete our services, we wouldn't even get to this point where kids are living in hotels.
So the thing is, when they become a ward of the state, if you will, and the process to get them back in the home, the parents are just not participating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm understanding. Good evening, Michelle Brown. Good to have you. Better late than never. Love you, sis. Okay, so now this is my clarification and understanding is, by the time what you're describing happens, they've already exhausted all those previous options that you said they will do before they get there. So
Yes.
they had the option to go to another family member. They had an option to, so everybody up to this point has rejected them as far as bringing them in the home. Then by the time they get to the level that you're describing, then they're really basically looking at everything with a fine-tooth comb when you start talking about something as going to the bathroom. You should have gone up, because I mean, really, if this is a rule and this is an expectation that's set out by the agency, if you want your child back, you're gonna follow the rule.
Correct. And
Correct.
we exhaust all avenues before we get to a point where a child is taken away from their family altogether. I have a kid who's with his dad's ex-girlfriend, and the dad's ex-girlfriend is trying to adopt him, but we connected him with his dad's ex-girlfriend because the dad's ex-girlfriend has a child by the dad, so we wanted to at least keep the siblings together. So like we exhaust all avenues before we get to a point where a child's living in a hotel and we're done. Like we're going to reach out to everybody. So when we get to that point, we've exhausted all the avenues.
Okay. And I just wanted to stipulate that. Good evening, Shelly Thunder in the room. Thank you for coming. Glad to have you in the Lion's Den. So to the mods extraordinaire, appreciate you guys. So ultimately, I wanted to stress that point, because it'd be like, what? They didn't go to the bathroom. They took it. But at this point, I'm trying to again stress the fact that we've already exhausted all of those options aforementioned, and now we're trying to. And I think, to me, that some of the rationale in doing it this way, somewhat, how much do you want this child back, and how much are you willing to really give this child proper supervision and care before we just pop up and give them back to you?
Correct.
Okay. So Jonna, with that in mind, what do you see as a possible intervention? Your whole concept is, before it gets this far along, let's get to the root cause. From what Tyrone has shared there, do you see an avenue to cut it off at the pass?
I don't know. It seems like there needs to be a little bit better, because even with the before we get to what is the reason that they lost the rights, and I know it changes from situation to situation, but it's almost like a matter of heart. Like, we've got to, and I know things like money is an issue, and sometimes, you can be doing the best you can and it's simply not there, and they may need to be removed until you can find a place, until you can get a car to get them to school, things of that nature. But we've got to figure out a way, and I'm just going to go all the way down. If you can't parent, then you don't need to have any kids. We got to start there. And I mean, it's just, it is what it is. We need some more educational tools, some more, and it's strange in 2021, but there are still people who have no idea how to not have kids. And I know y'all might be like, girl, you are really tripping, but it's the truth. There are people who have no idea how to prevent pregnancies. And then you in a situation.
Tyrone, your face.
I feel that, and I agree with you, but I feel there's a bigger picture there.
Well, and I agree.
Where we need to, I feel love is the center of all of this. Everything we're talking about, it centers around love. And I feel that we have to love on each other more. We have to even if you don't agree with a person, we have to love on each other, because I feel that a lot of times we have a lot of kids who are born because especially with mothers, and nothing, please don't come from me. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to the men, but I feel a lot of times you have women who probably weren't loved and they're out there just looking for love. I say that about my mother all the time. My mother has multiple kids by different men. We've already had the conversation, so I'm not saying anything about her she don't already know. But I feel my mother was a woman, because she wasn't loved as a child, she was a woman who was always looking for love. And in that process of always looking for love, a baby came. Mm-hmm. And they get caught in these situations where they're not ready to be parents. They don't have the skills and the tools. And then we run into these situations. Yeah. So that's why I think that there's a bigger picture of it all comes down to love. I think even if it's not from a man loving you, just knowing that someone loves you. Mm-hmm.
But we also have to love people enough to tell them the truth.
Correct.
Don't have any more kids, because you can't half-ass take care of the one you already got. So don't have any more. Correct. Don't have any more. Please don't. I'm just saying.
Clink, clink, lock it up.
You get that one night of passion. You get that one night of passion, and you say, he is the one. He told me he gonna pay my rent tomorrow. And then a few months later, your period, you don't have no period, and then there's a baby. It happens.
Now, it does happen.
I literally, let's even beyond the one night of passion, I literally know a 12-year-old who said after she got pregnant, she tried to get pregnant because she wanted somebody that was going to love her.
We have a 14-year-old in the hotel, 14-year-old girl. We just moved her to another hotel. Her thing is she wants to get pregnant, and she's been through a few of the boys in the hotel. She wants to get pregnant because she wants someone to love. And we asked her, how are you going to take care of the baby? And she said she'll hook. That's her experience. I'm assuming mom hooked. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's her experience.
So I see that's the truth. Somebody said, put a helmet on the soldier. Put a helmet on the soldier. Hey, put a helmet on the soldier. I see you, Michelle said that's the truth. And I think you said that at about the time that Jonna was saying some of these folk don't know how they keep popping these babies out. Now, I hear you. And then the flip side of that, at 12 years old, you laying down trying to get pregnant, talking about, I want somebody that's going to love me. And then at the end of the day, we've got these children in the system, because when that baby's crying at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and you tired and you don't feel like getting up and you want to go out and party with your friends, or you want to go out and do this and that and the other, and realize how much your life has been quote unquote hampered, and you don't like it anymore, then you got a kid in the system. That's some real stuff we got to deal with too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So to curtail that, and again, this is for those that just joined us, we're talking about post-COVID 2021 and beyond, and what are the things that we want to advocate to see and have the transition in the world that we want to see. Tyrone's position and what he was advocating for is that we will address rebuilding the family structure, but especially the children and the system, the children that are in the system, and how to rebuild this scenario so that these kids can be healed. Pastor Brother Damon said you have more to say on the pastor ministry part, but it's too much to type. Okay, you just getting back home from dinner. I just connected I don't have the means by which to give you guys the telephone number. Michelle, I know this is an area that's real close to your heart, Pastor. If you want to call in, you're welcome to do that. Let me ask my moderator, do you have the number right there? Because I'm not in a channel that I can see the number. Okay, there she goes. 816-688-8485. Call me, Pastor. Michelle, if you want to have some conversation with me, call anybody that wants to have conversation with me on this point. This is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. If we're talking about 2021 and beyond and post-COVID, hey, ain't no need in us shouting around it and acting like it's not out there. This is a major issue. So, hey, Tyrone, like I said, for whatever reason, this was nowhere near what I thought you were going to express for advocacy, but it's huge. It's huge, and it needs to be addressed.
I will say, since I've been with the department, like my passion is getting these kids in a better place. And the crazy thing is, the hotel is actually nice for them. They were originally living in our office.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
They were living in our office. So the hotel, there's a lawsuit going on. Something happened where we had to move them from the office to the hotel. So could you imagine coming in the morning? There's kids. They're washing clothes. They're cooking food. They're walking around, and these kids were living in our office.
I've heard of that. Wow. Mel said, call Tyrone. Call him.
And you can use my phone.
I love it. Man, let's see. Michelle said she's agreeing with Tyrone. I always agree with Tyrone. Oh, goodness. Okay, Tall Pumps, I just did a recap on what we were talking about, but Tyrone, I'm gonna have you break it down one more time. I appreciate you coming in. Welcome to the Lion's Den. Can you give one more recap of what you're advocating? She wanted to know what we're talking about tonight.
Sure. So what I'm advocating for post 2020 and going forward is the reunification of the family, and then, since we've been talking, the rebuilding of the village. So whatever your village, your family is, there's a serious need for just us to be able to support each other, especially when we look at kids who have fallen, a part of the system, especially in the foster care system, and these kids have been removed from their families and their loved ones. There's a need out there.
Yes.
And I feel if we come together as a village, we can really prevent a lot of it going to that point. But we can also provide some resources and tools for opportunities for these kids to just have some type of normalcy and some type of security as they continue to grow. These kids have seen a lot, they've experienced a lot, and what they're living through now, even to them at this point, this is good living. They're not understanding the big picture of what I'm living in right now. That's not normal. And we need to come together as a village, whether you are a biological part of that village or just a stranger off the street who wants to be a part of the village. We need to rebuild the village and reunify the image of family, whatever your family looks like.
Yes. And express yourself. Call the hotline, 816-688-8485. Anything else you want to add to that, Jonna? Because I mean, man, this is really eye-opening.
It is. There's really nothing else to say. The reunification of the family, it's been a long time coming. Mm-hmm. I think this last year really gave us a chance to sit in it. Mm-hmm. And sit with ourselves. If I were going to have one thing that I was really pushing for, would be reunification with self, mm-hmm. because we have been so out there. But this past year and a half, we've had to come right on in,
right,
and examine a lot of our own behaviors, our culture, and our families. It all goes together. Mm-hmm. And you get together with one and the rest kind of fall into place. So we've got to get some kind of oneness. And I think this past year has given us an opportunity, because there was nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. And if we don't be careful, there's going to be nothing else to do again in a minute. So we got to get comfortable and really deal with our stuff. And this year has given us a chance to do it. And let me tell you, a lot of people, it's scary for a lot of us. I was going to say them, but us. It's been scary for a lot of us. And I know that this foster care situation has been an issue because the numbers are going down, but the need for it has gone up. Mm-hmm. So, it's tough.
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say once more and again, we've got to pick up the slack. And if the close DNA can't do it, then the extended DNA is going to have to step up to the plate and make this happen. I mean, it just is. There's no way around it. And we need to stop all the other things that we spend our time, energy, and effort on, because these children are going to grow up. And they're going to have some issues. And then we're going to have a society that we're going to really have to deal with. I mean, and ultimately, isn't that what we're seeing now, where we saw the start of this, and now we're dealing with the community at the level that it is now. But now we're talking about at such a higher number, at a greater rate. And it's like, man, you know, this is going to come back to bite somebody. Chickens are coming home to roost if we don't address it. Chickens are coming over the roof. Overstand, as I am an advocate for your youth, whom many are in the system, which are many systems. Come on, tall pumps. So yeah, this is the young people. We've got to have a heart and a compassion for the young people, and that's more than just lip service. Which is some of why I reboot. I want to hear the young people talk. I want to hear what they have to say. I want them to say it from their point and perspective, without having to edit it, without having to curtail it so that I don't offend somebody or whatever. Because these young folk got something on their mind, and they're in the midst of stuff. And I feel like too many of us have disconnected from them, and we're just clueless. Even this, I feel like, as much as I felt like I was aware, I did not somehow or another, with what you shared tonight, Tyrone, I did not know that this was as extended and as big as it is everywhere.
It's big.
That's staggering.
Yeah.
Just staggering. Well, nobody's calling in. I don't see anybody calling in on the hotline, so I'm not. Jonna, what I'm going to do, I appreciate again Tyrone and his point for advocacy, and I think it needs even more time than what we've given it tonight. I'm going to ask you if you'll hold on to your points for advocacy. What I will close out with, Tyrone, the flip side of that coin, name a pet peeve. What's a pet peeve that you want to see post COVID and post 2021, and it can be anything. You'd like to see it eradicated from the face of the earth, or at least changed.
Where do I start? I would say I would like people to mind their own business. And there's a pet peeve of mine when people mind other people's business. I feel we would live in a better society if you mind your own business. I run into situations, and even Tim had a situation, even the whole mask thing. People here, they're not wearing masks because, you know, everybody's vaccinated. Even though people still getting COVID, we still wear masks. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you have people's like, why are you wearing a mask? Because it's my business. Your life will be so much easier and better if you mind your own business.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
If you mind your own business, your life would be so much better.
Come on.
I want people going forward, is a pet peeve of mine when you mind other people's business.
Come on. We receive it. And Jonna, and what are your words on his pet peeve? Oh, Rebel said that's a message. And she put it in all caps with 3 X. Mind your business. Listen, Michelle Brado, she come up and they are the church is saying, amen, mind your business. Come on, Jonna, what you got to say about it?
I think it's good practice if we just practice saying, you know what? That's none of my business. That's none of my business. Free yourself.
Free yourself.
That's it.
Because not everything is your business.
It's not.
And you can scroll on by, you can walk on by, because it's none of your business.
None of your business. It's none of
That's a good one.
Shelly Thunder said that's a word.
That's a word.
Yeah, that's a good one. We've exhausted being in other folks' business this past year. Well, because there was nothing else to do. But
Michelle Browno said, free yourself.
Free
Right.
yourself. Mhm.
You lose so much energy worrying about somebody else's business.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
If you say it's not my business, they not bothering me.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna move
Right.
on, and we're good.
Right.
You,
I agree. That's a good one, Tyrone.
yeah, mind your business. That's it. Don't bother me. I won't bother you.
Come on with it. Come on with it. And that's how we gonna close it tonight. Now, 3 words, 3 concepts that Brother Daniel Dean gave us. Listen, connect, and love. Those are 3
Amen.
things. Listen, connect, and love. And particularly as it relates to our young people, particularly as it relates to what's going on out there in the system. Wait a minute, I saw tall pumps. I got distracted. But finger up. Listen though, family. If we mind the right business as village leaders, we gotta speak up. Come on, tall pumps. Okay, I got you. She got her finger up, y'all. She got the church finger. Y'all know how y'all when y'all get ready to she said finger up though. If we mind the right business, because we need to be leaders in the village. And I'm gonna embrace that.
Make sure the right business impacts the village.
Come on. And you
If
ain't
it
just
don't
meddling.
impact the village, and you just bored, and you minding my business,
Mhm.
then we have an issue.
Right
Yeah.
division, make it plain. Right division, make it plain.
There you go.
Okay, tall pump. So I think they're gonna agree with you, but with some clarification. Make sure you're minding the business of the village and you ain't just meddling
Correct.
in somebody else's stuff.
Correct.
Right.
Did I interpret that right?
We own it.
Let the church say amen.
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 Come on here. So we got 3 words. Simple. Listen, connect, and love. And the last thing that we want y'all to really make sure you do and mind your own business. Not your friends.
Amen.
Not your friends' friends. Mind your own business. You heard it right here on Yes You With Friends. I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. I hope that you've been blessed by what we've talked about. We've enjoyed having this time with you. I want to invite you back. We're here every Sunday at 6 o'clock. Again, I want to apologize for the technical difficulties we were having with, and I think it was the internet, because the longer we went on, the more it cleared up, because I still was having some pixelization, but it eventually cleared itself out. So I appreciate you guys hanging with us and working with us as we changed whole entire studios and came back to you. We appreciate you. Meet us again here next week at 6 o'clock. I'm going to ask, as I always do, I'm done talking. I'm going to ask Jonna, Tyrone, final words.
Listen, connect, and love. There's nothing else to say after that. Love oneself, and the rest will fall into place. And like Tyrone said, mind your business. And be happy or be free. It is freeing when you just mind your business. Let it bless you.
Beautiful.
And I will say the same thing: listen, connect, and love, and do that in all avenues of your life. And again, if you mind your own business, you will realize you have so much more time in your life, in your day, that you could do some other things, maybe like hit the gym, maybe cook a meal. But when you take up so much time minding other people's business, you lose time in your day. So yeah, put that on your Outlook calendar. Mind your own business. And other than that, we love you.
We love you. And you heard it here on Yes You With Friends. And you know how we close it out. Thank you for coming, and peace for your journey.